This is Walt Disney World today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, April 21st, 2006, and this is episode number 90 of Walt Disney World today. I'm Matt Hotchkiss from MGMstudios.org. On the show today, we have Len Testa of TouringPlans.com. Welcome, Len.
Howdy ho, Matt. How's it going?
Pretty good.
You forgot the whole co-author of the unofficial guide thing.
I know.
Bob's going to be mad.
I'm plugging something unofficial related.
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're not like the people at Mouse Planet that yell at us if we don't mention that the 8,000 titles that Scopa has. Hey.
Senior web lackey, Mike Scopa.
And, of course, from MousePlanet.com, of Mike Scopa of Mouse Planet. Welcome, Mike of Mouse Planet. How are you?
Well, Matt, with all this talking, you know, I've worked up quite a thirst. I think I'll take one of those newfangled trolleys down to the drugstore, soda fountain, and meet the boys for a cold sarsaparilla.
Now is the time.
Now is the best.
Disney
Not the same with that Newell here. He's going to throw in some sound effect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, on today's show, we're going to be talking about character meals. We're going to be going through the different character meals, talking about them. Now, Mike Scope, I think you might want to quickly go through that there are 3 types of character meals, and it's important to know the differences between them before you go in. Is that right?
That's right, Matt. There are 3 different styles of meals that guests can find at a character meal. There are going to be some character meals that will be traditional buffet style, and we'll talk about them later exactly where those meals are. Where you would go up to a buffet table and it's all you can eat. You can take whatever you want, as much as you want, and bring it back to your table and eat. There's also a family style where the waiter, waitress, the server will bring a large bowl or a plate or a skillet, and you would put it in the front of on the table, and you'd pass it around, and people would take whatever they need, and those usually are also replenished during the course of the meal. Finally, you have pre-plated meals, which are meals that are delivered to the table, and each guest is handed a plate with their meal on it, and they all have the same meal on the plate. And I believe that there are also seconds and thirds if you prefer on those meals. So you've got traditional buffet style, you've got family style, and you've got what they call pre-plated meals.
And I think it's also important to note that the way the character meals work, if you've never done one before, it's a little confusing because a lot of people kind of have a thought in their mind. I know that before I started doing character meals, I kind of had this deranged
Oh, it's the hydrolators all over again. Go ahead. Please tell us what you thought happened.
No, let's not. Let's say how actually it works. Whereas you're seated at your table, and the characters kind of meander throughout the hall. They'll stop by as they kind of go from table to table, saying hi, and it's really low impact, as I like to call it. I mean, they come by and maybe they'll just wave at you, and if you look more interested, I mean, if you start flipping out and waving at them and hugging them, they'll spend a lot more time with you. If you just wait and say hi, they'll wave to you and then move on to the next 6-year-old. But it's for a lot of people who are afraid that they're going to be forced to perform for the characters and pretend to be interested. It's not necessary at all, and you can really kind of get by without doing so much as waving to the character.
Right. Yes. I mean, they're going to engage you about the same level that you want to be engaged, or that you show for interest.
Exactly. So let's start through it. And the first one, we're going to go park by park, and the first one in the Magic Kingdom is Crystal Palace on Main Street, USA. This is I think my favorite one of them all. And the reason is I would recommend going here only if you can get a reservation before the park opens, because this allows you, to get in to the park before everybody else, which allows you to get some great views, and also if you want to take any pictures with the castle, you can take a picture and there'll be no one else in back of you, random strangers. You can get some great shots in there while all before you go to get your meal. What are your guys' thoughts on the Crystal Palace?
I agree. Go ahead, Len.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's also one of my favorites. What I like about Crystal Palace is that it offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what's nice about that is that there's always the opportunity to do what I call a crossover, and that is if you make an advanced dinner reservation or an ADR for Crystal Palace and you make it for late in the morning, let's say around 11:30, you can have your it's almost like a brunch. You can have your breakfast and then you can have your lunch, and they do switch the meal, the food offerings in the middle of the day.
So if you stay long enough, you get both breakfast and lunch?
Yes, sir.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's why we have Scope on this show.
That's got to be one of the smartest things I've ever heard.
Seriously, it
really
is.
That's great.
And the think about it this way too, Len. If you've got breakfast, and for adults it's $19 for breakfast, and if you sit down for breakfast and you're eating there, then when lunch comes, you're eating lunch at the breakfast rate, and lunch is $21. So you're making out very well.
Oh, I'm not worthy on this episode. We're in the presence of greatness tonight, I can tell. So let me ask, did we say who the characters are for Crystal Palace?
It's
Pooh, right?
It's Pooh characters, which actually, this is the only problem I have with that. I'm not a big fan of the Pooh characters. I'm not really a discriminator when it comes to characters. But,
the woodland creatures, but you discriminate.
I mean, I'll take any of the
damn owls again.
Well, I was just going to say, I like the regular Disney characters are fine, but Pooh characters really don't do a whole lot for me. So it's a personal thing. I'm sure if you like Pooh characters, this is it's great because the place, like we said, is such a great place for food and everything else, location. But I would say that it helps if you're a Pooh fan. I think.
You're in therapy, right? You've got issues.
I don't hate the Pooh.
I say that as a friend, right?
I know. I don't hate them. I just don't care for them that much.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
No, I do like your tip, and I think this is one of the best tips we can give to people. If you want to combine a character meal in the park when you're going to the Magic Kingdom, get the advanced dining reservation for as early as possible on the day that you're going to go. Don't do it for an extra magic hour morning. Do it on a regular park opening day when the park opens to everyone at 9 a.m. And if there's an 8:05 or an 8 o'clock dining reservation, get that. And that'll allow you to see everything you want to see. You'll get to meet the characters. You'll have plenty of time to dine. And then you'll be about 5 or 10 minutes ahead of the crowd when the park opens. I think it's a great tip. So good job on that.
I agree. It is one of the more expensive character meal dinners. It's $27.99 for adults for dinner. And it's $12.99 for children. So it's real expensive for dinner. So you may want to consider that.
Well, if you like expensive dinners, the next one is
for you.
Yeah, here's the mother of them all. It's Cinderella's Royal Table, and we actually talked about this. We talked about it on a couple different shows. Episode 31 with Kara Goldsberry, we really were really getting into just how much of a. I think we all agree that it's kind of a rip-off, maybe too strong of a word, but it's certainly, unless you're really into dining with the characters, as in that kind of 8-year-old mentality that I think we all think of stereotypically with Disney, then perhaps it's not the place for you. What are your guys' thoughts?
It's a very, very difficult character meal to discuss with people. I've been working with a family who is going down for the very first time, and they wanted to treat their children to Cinderella's Royal Table, and I was trying to be as objective as I could be. And when I told them the price, they said, "We don't care. We want to eat with Cinderella." And I said, "Well." I said, I can't tell you what to do. If it's important to you, then by all means. But the thing that really got to me was that they are going in August, and they're on the free dining, and they're going to use 2 of their sit-down meals per person to do that. And I didn't know what to say. But I agree, man. I think it's a rip-off. What can I say? Yeah. I don't think it's worth it. For those people who are going down for the first time, it will be very much a novelty, but for those people who have been there, they won't be returning. And from what I've heard, it's a lot easier to get bookings for Cinderella's Royal Table than it used to be, and I wonder why.
Well, I'm still having trouble finding. My girlfriend wanted to do it, and it was my mission, my last trip, to get one, and I failed miserably because it was still very. I mean, I go during the off season, and it's still hard to get a reservation for, especially for breakfast. I was able to get one for lunch or dinner, but she wanted breakfast, and that was not happening.
Well, breakfast, I think, I've done breakfast here before, and I agree that I think the dinner for $40 per adult and $25 per kid is just outrageously overpriced. I mean, a family of 4, you're spending somewhere between $145 $135 to $145, $130 to $145 for a meal. I mean, that's more than most people spend in a week on groceries and for a single meal. And the food's just not that good. For breakfast, the best food quality is found at breakfast. I've been there for lunch too. Thankfully, Bob was paying for the meal, not for me. And I didn't love it. It wasn't great at all. In fact, it was barely mediocre. But I got to admit,
you sound like Simon Cowell on American Idol.
If Newell here, we could have him as Randy Jackson. It would be great.
Check it out. Check it out.
Check it out. Yo, dog, you did your thing.
Get a hot one.
Somehow I can't see Newell saying that, but
No.
Lunch wasn't great, and based on lunch, I can't imagine that dinner's any better. I just being inside the castle, admittedly, was cool once. You know, I did it. Done it twice now, and I don't feel the need to ever go back.
What did your have you gone with your daughter one?
No, we haven't done this one with my daughter, but we have done several character meals with my daughter. Definitely want to give some good tips to some people because there are some very good, easier to get into character meals. We'll talk about these in a few minutes on the show.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to know if you had brought your daughter what her opinion of it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. The last character meal in the Magic Kingdom is the Liberty Tree Tavern. I haven't eaten here. Does any of you guys?
This is it, man. This is the best character meal you can get into.
Really?
Oh man, love for dinner.
Okay, what makes it so great?
Well, for one thing, if you go early, like in the 4:30, 4:45 range when they first start sitting down.
Right, the scope hour.
Yeah, you can go at 1 o'clock and just stay for 4 hours through, just like Mike would. But no, you go early and you get two good things about Liberty Tree Tavern. Number one, the menu is very kid friendly. They've got turkey, sliced ham. They've got steak. They've got mashed potatoes. They've got macaroni and cheese. Everything from the beige menu that kids normally like. They've got bread. They've got salad. I'm telling you, even the pickiest eater will find something here to like, and they give you a lot of food. The other thing is that there's just a bunch of characters there. They've got, I think it's Pluto, Goofy, Minnie, Chip, Dale. I think there's one more, but there are so many characters there that there's enough to make the rounds, especially if you're going early. So my advice, if you're having trouble finding a character meal in the Magic Kingdom, definitely try the Liberty Tree Tavern as early as possible in the day. Good food, prices are reasonable, your kids will find something to eat, and you'll see lots of characters. Yep. I really like Liberty Tree Tavern a lot for dinner.
For dinner. I ate there several times last year. I ate there on July 4th. It's a very, very popular meal on Thanksgiving. Probably the most popular meal to try to get into for Thanksgiving. I like it too. We probably want to mention that Liberty Tree Tavern character meal is one of those where it's a family style meal that is delivered to your table. We probably want to go back. Crystal Palace's buffet, and I believe Cinderella's royal table is
a
plated meal. Is a
plated
meal.
Yeah.
So just wanted to. I mean, Liberty Tree Tavern is very. Is a very, very, very nice meal. As a matter of fact, I believe I'm eating there in August. So that's one of my places that I try to hit every single time I go down.
Well, I'm definitely going to make a reservation my next time down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've probably eaten there with my daughter and with my nieces 3 or 4 times, and we've never had a bad experience there. The wait staff is friendly, the characters are plentiful, and the food, again, everyone likes. And our family has some fairly picky eaters, but we seem to find something like that. I really like the tavern for dinner. You could do a lot worse.
Yeah. Let's move on to Epcot, and the first place is the Garden Grill.
I like the Garden Grill, actually. The thing I like the most about the Garden Grill is the rotating.
Yeah, it's got the novelty value.
Yeah, it adds to the meal too. I wouldn't say so much of a novelty. It really adds to the meal, but to the ambiance. Just kidding. This is a what kind of food is this?
You mean how it's presented?
Plated, right? Is it?
It's family style.
Family style.
they changed it last year. When I had gone down last spring, they had changed it to you would actually order off the menu, and I had mentioned to my server, I said, I think you're going to change back because I don't think the guests want this. I think the guests liked it the way it was, and I believe they turned it back to what it used to be, which was a family style. They would bring a skillet, and they would have flank steak, and they had, I believe they had catfish, and they had...
That's right. Yeah, the catfish.
Flank steak,
yes,
catfish.
Yes.
I forget what else they had. It's very, very good. It's like you said, Len. It's great. The ambiance of just that slow turn. It makes it really interesting to eat there. And then you've got Mickey coming around, and you've got Chip and Dale coming around, and I think you've got Pluto coming around, and they're dressed like farmers and everything.
Right.
And you have to compliment Mickey on on growing great potatoes or whatever, and stuff like that. And Chip and Dale. I think one of the funniest things that happened one time. I had my family there, and Chip and Dale came, and I said to my wife, "Watch what happens when I do this." And Chip and Dale approaching, and I said to them, "Hold it right there. Which one of you is Simon, and which one of you is Alvin?" Making fun of Alvin the Chipmunks. And I got the greatest reaction from the characters. They put their hands on their hips, and it was just one of those moments where you get to really interact with the characters, and I think they really appreciate that. You can't stress enough when Becky said in the last show how it's important for the guests to really play it up with the characters.
Oh, I love playing Chip and Dale against each other is one of the best. It's a great thing to do because a lot of times they don't come together; they'll come separate to kind of maximize their numbers. And when one comes over,
just surround you with the two of them.
well, one comes over, you let one do whatever, and then when the other one comes over, someone in your party you like the other one better, and they just start. The other character just starts, it's great. They start pretending to cry, and
that's great.
It's really a lot of fun.
At the Garden Grill, now they've got the catfish. What else do they have? They've got some sort of steak and some sort of pork thing, right?
They had a flank steak, Len, but I forget what the pork was. Was it pork roast, maybe? I don't remember.
Probably loin. I don't think they do roast. They do loins a lot.
Yeah.
So that's typically what you're going to get, though, at pretty much any of these places, right? You're going to get some sort of pork, some sort of flank steak, and then a turkey, a fish, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The next restaurant is the Princess Storybook Dining, which took the place of the much beloved
restaurant
cold fish restaurant.
Yeah, who doesn't like raw herring cold for breakfast? I can't imagine that didn't go over in the American palate. I'm shocked.
I should mention
the beer.
Right. Well, this place is a lot of Kara Goldsberry when she came on before, as we mentioned. She recommended this as a good alternative to Cinderella's Royal Table. Kind of gives you a lot more of the characters, better price.
Yeah, Disney thinks so too, though, because what happens is Cinderella books up first, and then everyone defaults to Princess Storybook. It's the second hardest reservation to get.
Yeah, it's not so much a secret anymore, Len, right?
No, not at all.
But if your kids love princesses, I mean, this is the crack addicts of princesses heaven right here. I mean,
you've got what? You've got Snow White,
Belle, Jasmine,
Sleeping Beauty,
Ariel. I mean, is
Aurora there?
I've seen her there. Yep.
Mary Poppins, I've seen there.
Did you like that reference to the crack addicts one?
It was great. Thank you.
We like to get a narcotic reference into every episode that we do.
And
sort of substance abuse thing for show.
That meal is not just for children, because my wife and I went there just to check it out a couple of years ago, and for those of you.
Check it out.
Yeah,
Open princesses. I'm shocked. Oh my God.
I have a tip. If you happen to go to the Princess Storybook dining character meal, and you happen to go there with your wife, and you don't have any children in tow, and as you're being seated, if the maitre d' says to you and my handsome prince, which princess are you looking forward to dining with this morning for breakfast? You're very smart to look her straight in the eye and then look at your wife and say, "Well, I dine with a princess every day."
Oh, smooth.
Now, where's Belle?
She didn't believe a word of that, did she? I know.
No,
Carol did not go for that at all.
Well, there are no.
So, Princess Storybook, have you guys dined there? Because my sister went here last year, and she said the food itself was okay, but it took her 90 minutes to get through the meal. And she couldn't take it. Apparently, it's the size of the restaurant is a factor here.
Size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when we had eaten there, I believe it was plated. I think they would bring out. Well, gee, I don't remember now. I think it was
It's family
pretty much
style.
Family style now. It may have changed it. I went there like the first month they were trying it out. There is at that point there didn't seem to be enough servers there to handle the patrons because they had switched over from that original
Right.
cold fish thing where people went up and did their own meal. So they weren't really sure as to how to staff at that time. I'm sure that it's much better now.
Yeah, we went in December, and it wasn't. I think it was when Linda went, and it wasn't. She said that it took 90 minutes, and it almost was to the point where she needed to leave. So.
Well, the studios have no character meals. They got rid of theirs a little while ago. And
They're supposed to be coming up with one?
Well, there's been rumors of one at Hollywood and Vine, and at the time of this podcast, the Pixar. It was supposed to be Pixar themed with the Sarge from Toy Story being the central character, and that's been. Well, unfortunately, it's been scrapped from what it sounds like. At best, we can expect perhaps a theme of Playhouse Disney, or perhaps nothing at all. But for right now, there is none at the studios. But Len, I think this would be a good time for you to tell our listeners, according to your research, what are the most popular, meaning the hardest to get into, and the least popular character meals.
Right. So we had alluded to this before. Obviously, I think based on the conversations we had, everyone thinks that Cinderella is the most difficult character breakfast to get into, and that's true. What happens after if you can't get into Cinderella? I think most Disney reps will try and get you into the character breakfast, the Princess Storybook breakfast at Epcot as the number 2. So consequently, that is the meal that will fill up second. Third most popular is Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary, which we're going to talk about shortly. The fourth most popular is Ohana, which is a wonderful character breakfast, and I hope we can spend some time on this in a few minutes. Number 5 is Crystal Palace, which we've already spoken about. And next is Breakfastosaurus, which is at Matt's favorite park, the Animal Kingdom.
Wow.
Now, if you can't get into any of those, the least popular and therefore the least busy character meal is almost always found at the Cape May Cafe at the Beach Club. It's they've got Goofy, Pluto. They have Chippendale. I think they have Chippendale.
Yeah, they do have Chippendale.
It's your basic.
I call it the beer garden of character meals. It's good, but nobody likes it.
Yeah, they've got sausage and meat, bacon, and they've got pastries and breads, and there's some sort of egg thing, and I think there's pancakes or waffles. That's your basic stuff. But if you're planning a last minute trip and you absolutely positively have to have a character meal, and you can't get it in anywhere else, try Cape May, and that can always be your fallback school.
Yep. You mentioned before, Len, Donald's Breakfastosaurus at Animal Kingdom. That's the only character meal over there. Anyone have anything to say about that?
Oh, it's a pretty good meal. Len, go ahead.
Here's the one thing. I think we actually mentioned this on a previous show. I've been there twice, and I didn't love it either time. I had bad character experiences. Mm-hmm. and the meal itself is okay. I don't love the setup of the way the food stations are, because you go through the food line. At least this is the way it was the last couple times I've been. You go through the food line. You pick up your mass-produced scrambled eggs. You pick up your bacon. You pick up your waffles. You pick up your fresh fruit. And you get to the very end, and there's this guy standing there who will do omelets to order for you, but you've already got a plate full of food.
Right.
So, and so the second time I went, which was about a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, I got halfway through the line and realized, wait, there should be an omelet station here at the end. I peek around the people who were ahead of me, and sure enough, there was the omelet guy there. But in this way, I only had half a plate of food, so it worked out fairly well. But if you don't know it's there, if you don't know that there's an omelet station there, that you're just going to get all the same food as everyone else. But the ready-made omelet is definitely the best part of Breakfastosaurus. I don't think the service the last couple times I've been there hasn't been great. Character service wasn't great. I think the layout of Breakfastosaurus puts people you're too separated from everyone. and characters can't see how many people are waiting to see them.
Yeah.
Just my thought. I didn't love it.
Well, we're running short on time here. We're gonna have to run through the resorts. We've already talked about Cape May. It's your absolute.
Oh, let's just do the best ones then.
Sure. Well, there's not too many left. But Cape May we talked about. Chef Mickey's. I always like this one. I finally got to eat at this. I thought it was pretty good.
Was it?
I mean, it's hard to get a reservation, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought that the food was good. The characters, it's your standard characters. They're all in chef motif, by the way.
Oh, really?
If that matters to you.
Did you go for breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
The usual breakfast stuff.
Yeah, the usual breakfast stuff. Nothing particularly super, but I found the line to be extremely long. I don't know if it was the timing, because I'd gone with my girlfriend and she had mentioned that she'd been there before, and it was not the line to get in was quite long, but I found it to be pretty good. Nothing particularly out of this world, but I think it's very hard because a lot of people see it, and the contemporary looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get Mickey, and that's kind of hard to find in some of the places. Look quickly, 1900 Park Fair. I thought it was nothing special.
Me neither.
I mean, unless you like Mary Poppins and Alice, who I found Alice to be very ditzy when she talks to you. I mean, she tried to go with that whole in character thing, which I understand, but it comes off as like oh my God, but with the British accent.
Alice in the Valley.
Yeah, right.
Wonderland Valley. I've been there both for breakfast and dinner. The thing that I don't like about it is you're in a huge cafeteria style room.
Yeah.
And it's noisy, it's crowded, kids are running everywhere. I mean, you're just like, it's like trying to sit down and eat in the middle of a football stadium. It's very difficult to do. Don't love it. And
the one we wanted to talk about, of course, is Ohana at the Polynesian Resort.
Yeah, probably my favorite breakfast to go along with my Liberty Street Tavern dinner. The couple times I've been here with my family, we've had no problems getting reservations. And in fact, it's not one of the top 3 choices for breakfast for most people. So there's a good chance when you go there, it won't be completely crowded, especially if you follow our tip and try and get an early reservation.
Yep.
The one time we went there for my brother's wedding in January '04, we actually had to ask the characters to leave our table so our kids could eat their food. Otherwise, they would just. I mean, Mickey was coming around and massaging our heads, and Minnie was flirting with my brother because he was getting married, and they all wanted to play with the kids. And literally, it was like one character for every 2 kids in our table, and it was like, Pluto, or Goofy, will you please leave my children alone so they can eat? And there were only like 3 families there the entire time. It was great. Food's really good. Service is great. Love the Polynesian. I really, really like this meal. So if you can get into this, I think it's a better choice than Cinderella, personally.
Oh, I would never choose Cinderella.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the money and everything that goes with it. But yeah, I think it's a great choice, Lon.
They don't. By the way, they don't do a Minnie anymore. It's is it Stitch that's here? It's the Hawaiian theme.
It's Lilo, Stitch.
Oh, Lilo and Stitch.
And
is Lilo a face character?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
Technically a fur character.
In your dreams, Testa. In your dreams.
Well, we won't go there.
By the way, I want to offer. I'd like our listeners to in the comment section of our website to comment on this. Am I the only one who steals the Mickey waffles from the kids station?
No, everyone does that. I did too.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not the only one who flagrantly kicks little kids out of the way to get my Mickey waffles.
Okay, I don't know about the whole kicking things out. What's wrong with politely standing in line? But whatever, okay.
Out of the way, Jimmy. Boom.
We should put up a poll on our listeners' favorite character meals that they've actually dined at. We should do like a breakfast or a lunch or something.
You want to do the favorite meals?
Yeah, let's do favorite character meals. If you want to break it down by lunch or breakfast, lunch, or dinner too, that'd be great. But if not, no big deal.
Okay. Any last comments?
There are a couple of off-site character meals occasionally.
There's one at the Swan and Dolphin.
2 at the Swan.
2 at the Swan, right?
2 at the Swan, yeah. Garden Grove and Gulliver's
Grill.
Is that what it is?
Gulliver's Grill? Yeah, because I remember the alliteration.
Gulliver's Tavern. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's Gulliver's Grill. I haven't been to them yet. We'll have to hit there on a next trip.
All right. Well, that's it for us today.
We could have done 40 minutes on the show.
Yeah, right. This has been episode number 90 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Happy eating.